Hello and welcome to our webinar, Eat, Read, Love. I'm Annie Bostrom, Adult Books Senior Editor at Booklist. Before we begin, let's go over some technical details. Today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download them by copying the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions and will pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable captions on your screen, please look for and click the live transcript icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. From there, you can select Show or Hide Subtitles from the menu that appears. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of the captions at any time by selecting Subtitle Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Dina Sherman, School and Library Marketing Director at Disney Publishing, Annie Mazes, Associate Director of Library Marketing at Hachette Book Group, Mark DeVera, Sales and Marketing Director at Yen Press, and Lisa Mangum, Managing Editor at Shadow Mountain Publishing. First, we'll hear from Dina Sherman. Dina has been the School and Library Marketing Director at Disney Publishing since 2009. Prior to that, she was the School and Library Senior Marketing Manager at HarperCollins Children's Books. Dina received her MLS from the University of Pittsburgh and worked as a children's librarian for 10 years, first at the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh and then at the Brooklyn Children's Museum. As a librarian, Dina wrote reviews for School Library Journal and wrote articles and presented on the topic of museum and library collaborations. Thanks for being here, Dina.
Thanks, Annie. Hi, everyone. As Annie said, I'm Dina Sherman, the head of library marketing for Disney Publishing, and I'm really excited to share some upcoming titles from across all of our adult imprints. First up, I wanted to start off with a couple of titles that you may have missed this spring. First, we have Plant Love Kitchen, which is an easy-to-use guide from nutritionist and popular food blogger Marissa Moore that breaks down the benefits of a flexitarian diet for your health, disease prevention, and overall well-being. This isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, but an adaptable method that will leave you feeling younger, stronger, mentally fit, and healthy. I haven't tried it yet, but this plant-forward idea, as opposed to not exclusively, I think is just a really terrific thing that people are very interested in. And then in the National Geographic television series Uncharted, Chef Gordon Ramsay travels to some of the most remote locations on Earth in search of culinary inspiration, epic adventures, and cultural experiences. This beautifully illustrated collection features 75 mouthwatering recipes and revealing insight into the cultures and foodways of destinations from Peru to Louisiana. Another recently released title is The Blue Zones: Secrets for Living Longer by National Geographic explorer and best-selling author Dan Buettner. Buettner has traveled the globe to uncover the best strategies for longevity, which he found in the Blue Zones, places around the world where higher percentages of people enjoy remarkably long, full lives. In The Blue Zone: Secrets for Living Longer, Buettner returns to Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, Okinawa, Japan, Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, and Loma Linda, California, to check in on the superagers living in the Blue Zones and interpret the not-so-secret sauce, purpose, faith, community, downtime, natural movement, and plant-based eating that has powered as many as 10 additional years of healthy living in these regions. And Buettner reveals an all-new Blue Zone, the first man-made Blue Zone yet explored. The Blue Zones have been around for years, and the principles are so heart and diabetes healthy that doctors actually prescribe the books to patients, and they've been adapted into the Blue Zone City Makeover Project, which is the largest preventative healthcare program in the United States, with more than 50 cities, the entire state of Hawaii, and 80 major hospitals. There's no shortage of books that have come out over the years, so there's something for everyone. Okay, moving on to the literal exact opposite of healthy. We have Patty's Pub, the worst bar in Philadelphia, perfect for fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia who want to don their aprons and take a crack at making some of the iconic foods from the show. You ever wanted to try Frank Reynolds' iconic rum ham? Have you been dying to make your own trash bag full of chimichangas to rival Fat Max? Does the mere sight of Charlie's delectable milk steak, raw jelly beans on the side make your mouth water? With more than 45 recipes, this cookbook turns your favorite meals from the show into an innovative and easy to follow recipe. Filled with playful photography and quotes, Patty's Pub is the ultimate guide to all the iconic dishes and a must-have for every fan. Now, we know our Disney fans love these Disney cookbooks. More than 500,000 have sold across 13 titles, each by Pam Brandon and the Disney chefs. The newest installment is Delicious Disney, Disneyland, which includes bite-sized, behind-the-scenes anecdotes from Marcy Carricker Smothers and the staff of the Walt Disney Archives, woven in around 60 diverse recipes from Pam and the Disney chefs. Recipes include Big Thunder Ranch Ribs, Gingerbread Mickey, the Batuan Ronto-less garden wraps, and churro toffee squares, just to name a few. So for more than 25 years, Pam has worked closely with the Disney chefs to thoughtfully take the best dishes from Disney theme parks and resorts and serve up official recipes that are just right for prepping on a smaller scale in home kitchens. The official Disney Parks cookbook enchants with 101 tried and true recipes from across the parks, cruise ships, and resorts. And created as part of the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, Delicious Disney, Walt Disney World, is a holistic look at the Florida Resort's culinary past, present, and future, and fit for home chefs of varying skill levels. We've also got Disney cookbooks that are perfect for families and budding young chefs. Both of these cookbooks feature 50 beginning-friendly recipes. With simple step-by-step instructions and mouth-watering photos of each dish, these cookbooks invite readers to craft delicious treats while enjoying captivating illustrations of some of their favorite characters. In the Disney Villains Cookbook, which came out just in time for Halloween, recipes include dishes like Kronk's spinach puffs, Gaston's chicken drumsticks, and Cruella cookies. And Tiana's cookbook takes us to New Orleans for favorites like chicken and sausage gumbo and Tiana-style beignets. All right, moving back to the healthier side of things, The Power 5 by acclaimed nutritionist and Dr. Michael Krupane introduces the 5 essential food groups for a longer, healthier life, along with 75 delicious recipes that will ward off illness and extend your life by years. Living longer and better, he reveals, doesn't mean frequent trips to the doctor's office or a magic pill. Instead, it's all about preventative medicine through the power of what you eat, and that includes carbs, fats, and sugars. Krupane provides an inspiring roadmap to revamp your eating habits for maximum health. Using a foundation of 5 key food groups, whole grains, seafood, nuts and seeds, beans, and fruits and vegetables, he crafts recipes that will prevent disease and extend your life by years. In 2005, after a stint in the Navy and a career as a water treatment operator at Des Moines Waterworks, Mo Carson began competing in and winning barbecue competitions. Today, he is faced off with some of the most famous pitmasters in America. He appeared on Barbecue Pitmasters regularly from 2009 to 2018 and has also been featured on America's Pit Wars, Food Network's The Kitchen, and Chopped. His National Geographic series, World of Flavor, debuts in November. So the 75 mouth-watering recipes gathered in these beautifully photographed pages showcase a breadth of time-tested techniques and recipes, from smoked bone-in tomahawk steak to a 14-hour turkey bride. And let's not forget the sides. Savor a secret ingredient mac and cheese that wowed Steve Harvey. Enjoy a generations-old family recipe for sweet and savory cornbread, and get a taste of perfectly seasoned collard greens. Carson offers expert guidance on working with different types of smokers and grills, filling the pantry with time-tested spice rubs and marinades, and selecting the perfect cut of meat and more. Marinades, I'll have to ask someone, I'm not sure. And finally, moving from food to romance, we have the 4th installment in our popular Meant to Be series. Modern-day rom-com retellings of some of your favorite Disney stories. Tangled Up in You by best-selling author duo Christina Lauren reimagines Rapunzel as Wren, a young girl headed off to college who was raised in isolation by her strict naturalist parents. From her very step onto the Dartmouth campus, Wren is certain this is when her life will begin. Then a routine assignment in her genetics class reveals that the man who raised her is not her biological father, and she may have a happy cluster of siblings halfway across the country. With the rosy shine on Wren's isolated childhood now cast in a shadow, Wren enlists help finding the other half of her family from Edward Fitzsimmons, lab partner, senior heartthrob, and owner of a Mustang, able to make the 2,100-mile journey. But Wren and Fitz could not be more different. Along with her bright enthusiasm, Wren brings snacks, sing-along playlists, and a book of road trip games, while Fitz was fervently hoping to sit in his silent, personal bubble the entire time. Through a series of catastrophes and antics, the world somehow shifts, and the two realize that maybe the dreams they've both been chasing have been sitting next to them the whole time. Now, you're probably familiar with the first three meant to be titles, but I wanted to give a quick recap in case you're not. Kiss the Girl by Zoraida Cordova crosses The Little Mermaid with Hannah Montana as pop star Ariel goes on the road with dreamy musician Eric, who has no idea who she really is. By the Book by Jasmine Guillory reimagines Beauty and the Beast with editorial assistant Isabel finding herself stuck working with a beastly author. And If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which was a Library Reads pick, sets Cinderella in the world of a sort of Bachelor-esque reality show. We've partnered with NetGalley and We Are Bookish to create book club kits for all of the meant to be titles. There'll be one for the newest one, Tangled Up in You, as well. They include everything you need from discussion questions, downloadable bookmarks, quizzes, snack ideas, and my personal favorite, the specialty cocktails. There's a specialty cocktail in each and every one. And you can find them all on the Bookish website listed on this slide or at our website, disneybooks.com. That's it for me. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I apologize if I'm a little bit off. I had my COVID shot yesterday, and I think my brain is still a little fuzzy. Be sure to find us online, follow us on social media, and look for Blads and Galleys up on NetGalley and Edelweiss. And of course, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. Our next presenter will be Annie Mazes. Annie is the Associate Director of Library Marketing at Hachette. Some of her favorite books include The Orphan Master's Son and Lady Pancake and Sir French Toast. Take it away, Annie.
Thank you, Annie. And thank you, everyone, for joining today. Dina, your biography inspired me because mine is lackluster. I will improve for next time. I'm Annie Mazes, Associate Director of Library Marketing at Hachette. If you would like to reach out with any questions, I'm happy to chat with you. I'm going to jump in with some cookbooks. First up, we have Slow Noodles. This is a haunting and beautiful memoir from a Cambodian refugee. I know I said memoir, but there are lots of recipes throughout. So I thought it was important to include. Chantha lost her country and her family during Pol Pot's genocide in the 70s, but she hopes to find and reclaim some of her history with recipes that she's tasted in her mother's kitchen. So with recipes throughout, Slow Noodles will resonate with readers who love the food and emotional truth of crying in H Mart. Next, we have Jang, more traditional cookbook. In the first book on the subject that's in English, South Korea's best chef shows readers how to cook with jangs, the sauces that are the essential building blocks in Korean cuisine. In the 60 home-cook friendly dishes, he demystifies jangs while showing how they can be used to make both Korean and Western dishes more delicious. Next, so I was out of the office last week attending a conference, and when I came back, I learned that this title had changed, which is why the title of the book and the jacket are different. The book is called The Vegetable Eater, so ignore the jacket image, but it will, similar to that. Vegetable Eater is the follow-up from the IACP award-winning author of The Vegetable Butcher, and it presents simple lessons and 100 recipes that are irresistible, and they put vegetable-forward dishes in every home cook's rotation. Next, super fun for 90s kids, the Clueless official cookbook. Clueless comes to the kitchen with this officially licensed cookbook featuring 50 totally delicious recipes, iconic movie quotes, full-color images from the film, and so much more. Use it to make your 90s themed gatherings even more legit, or for meal ideas anytime you're feeling a little clueless. Next is Milk Street 365 from the James Beard award-winning team at Christopher Kimball's Milk Street. Comes 365 essential recipes and tons of foundational resources to make you a more confident cook. Things like garlic rosemary burgers with taleggio sauce, cheese crisp pinto bean quesadillas. There are also deep dives into ingredients, pantry basics, and foundational techniques. And my last cookbook, in Italy, stuzzichini are small bites, skewers, dips, toast, pastries, etc., that are provided by restaurants or bars alongside Negronis and Aperol spritzes during aperitivo hour. So now you can capture the magic of Italy and the Italian happy hour with over 100 recipes for easy-to-make snacks and memorable drinks. Things like Tuscan crisp with ricotta and honey, prosciutto cups with melon and burrata filling, basically like a vacation in a cookbook. Over to some romance novels. For Never and Always is from the author of Season of Love. It's a second chance romance for fans of Alexandria Bellefleur and Ashley Herring Blake. One surprise inheritance, two best friends, now bitter exes, and 3 months to prove he loves her forever and always. Next is Red String Theory. When it comes to love and art, artist Rooney Gao believes in signs. Most of all, she believes in the Chinese legend that everyone is tied to their one true love by the red string of fate. And then fate leads her to the perfect guy, except he does not believe in this theory at all. This charming fated love rom-com about two star-crossed lovers will appeal to readers of Helen Hone, Jasmine Guillory, Sarah Adams. Lauren will be presenting on a romance author panel that I'm hosting with HTP Books, HarperCollins, and Sourcebooks on October 17th. So if you want to find out information about that, send me an email. Next up, we have Never Blow a Kiss. The utterly charming Emily Leverton has a dark past and is determined to leave it behind in her respectable new role as a governess. But when she is recruited by a secret network of governesses who spy on the ton, it may just be a way to redeem the dark secrets of her past. This thrilling start to a new historical romance series is full of witty banter, dazzling chemistry, and edge-of-your-seat mystery. Next is Canadian Boyfriend. Everyone knows that trope of having a relationship with someone in Canada, so this plays onto that. Fate brings together a ballet teacher and a hockey player in this big-hearted novel about second chances and taking risks. Canadian Boyfriend is a heartfelt and charming romance that explores deep themes, including mental health, eating disorders, and grief. It will appeal to readers who love romances with plenty of depth, like The Heart Principle and yours truly. Next is Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Tia Williams has written another iconic love story about music and creativity, this time celebrating the glamour and history of the Harlem Renaissance. The novel's filled with Tia Williams' signature wit, sharp insights into today's world about gentrification and the glory and pressures of the Black excellence, with plenty of music, Easter eggs, and pop culture references. It's a swoon-worthy love story of two passionate artists drawn to the magic, romance, and opportunity of New York, and whose lives are uniquely and irreversibly linked. How You Get the Girl, from the author of Love and Other Disasters, comes a novel about basketball, identity, and finding family. Anita delivers a queer workplace romance with plenty of spice, humor, sharp writing, and their signature warmth. Perfect for fans of Abby Jimenez, Alexis Hall, and Alexandria Bellefleur. This book will include a reader's group guide to spark conversations with book clubs. Next is This Could Be Us. Soledad Barnes has her life perfectly planned and executed until it vanishes in a cloud of betrayal. In the process of rebuilding for her and her daughter, she discovers herself again and then meets the one man that she should not be attracted to. Can she be brave enough to make room for what could be? For fans of Tia Williams and Colleen Hoover comes a deeply moving and personal novel about sacrifice, self-reliance, and finding true happiness. Next up is Lady Charlotte Always Gets Her Man, family secrets, a brother's best friend romance, and scandalous mystery combine in this delightfully witty historical rom-com, perfect for fans of Evie Dunmore and Nola Holmes and Netflix's Bridgerton. All right. Flirty Little Secret is for readers of Lynn Painter or Lisa K. Adams. This will be familiar to any You've Got Mail fans, which I just watched last week, and it was as good as it was 25 years ago. It's set in a high school. This laugh-out-loud debut rom-com features the anonymous and very anxious woman behind a popular account at The Misguided Counselor, who must decide if she can take her alter ego's advice and reach for the life and love that she wants. Just from the summer, from the New York Times bestselling author of Yours Truly, comes a scintillating summer novel. Justin has a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, it's now all over the internet. Every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come up with a plan. They'll date each other and break up. Perfect. Their curses will cancel each other's out, and they'll both go on to find the loves of their lives. It's a bonkers idea, but it just might work. Next, slightly unorthodox title for romance, but this is a love story, two librarians and booksellers, in their own words. So this is profiles of library workers and booksellers around the country talking about what makes their job so magic. You know, James Patterson does have a history of focusing on literacy and valuing bookstores, but these are true stories from those people who are living the experiences, devoting their lives to the single goal of matching each reader with the perfect book. And next we have Audrey Lane Stirs the Pot by Alexis Hall. Alexis Hall is a dynamic voice in romance genre, and this book is the third in the Winner Bakes All series. Alexis garnered starred reviews from LJ Booklist, PW, Kirkus, and as a Library Reads Hall of Famer. With Great British Bake Off inspired setting and an opposites attract romance, Audrey Lane Stirs the Pot hits all of the sweet notes readers are looking for. Plus, there will be a reading guide, including recipes at publication. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie. We will now hear from Mark DeVera. Mark DeVera is the Sales and Marketing Director at Yen Press. Mark is a lifelong fan of manga and graphic novels who has spent his entire professional life spreading the joy of comics to other fans. Among the many things that Mark does as Sales and Marketing Director, talking about comics and public speaking are among his favorites, and as such, he is thrilled to present to you all today. Thanks for being here, Mark. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Everybody give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen because mine is not in this presentation, but in a moment you will see it. All right, there we go. I think if all went well, you should be seeing my presentation right now. So I will begin. How's it going, everybody? Like Annie said, I am Mark DeVera of Yen Press. Yen Press being a publisher of many types of books, but primarily graphic novels. And in the world of graphic novels, we're mostly known for what we've done in Japanese manga space. And if you know anything about manga, you know there's a lot of manga that has themes of romance, less manga that have to do with food, but that's one of the things we pride ourselves on at Yen Press is we cover a wide array of genres, categories, stories. And within our manga catalog are actually some titles that have to do with food, some that have to do with both romance and food at the same time. So yeah, let's begin and take a look at some of those. So the first one is one of those titles that I alluded to that combines both food and romance, a title called She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat, which is the story of a lady named Nomoto who loves cooking. She loves cooking so much that she actually has her own social media account where she posts the amazing dishes that she makes, which is loved by many people. She's really good at it. The thing is, Nomoto doesn't really like to eat. She's yeah, she just doesn't have the biggest appetite. But what she finds is that her neighbor Kasuga absolutely loves to eat. Kasuga, you know, has a job where she has to be on her feet. She has to lift up a lot of heavy objects. So needless to say, she's somebody with quite a big appetite. So that's where the friendship between the two of them starts. The chapters of She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat mostly revolve around Nomoto making some sort of dish, which this artist is absolutely amazing at depicting these dishes, and Kasuga enjoying it. And then, you know, it goes on to them taking trips, making food there. And as the story develops, it's clear that this friendship is more than a friendship, but it takes a little while to get there. So for those of you who like slow burn romances, who really like that slow paced romance, and you know, where when the two finally get together, it's a really satisfying event, then you'll absolutely love She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat. Like I said, this slow burn romance in between a lot of amazing slice of life moments. And of course, just a great friendship, a really sweet manga to read here with She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat. Next up is another series that has some nice elements of food in it, Kowloon Generic Romance, which is a manga made by an artist known as Jun Miyazuki, who's become very well known for romance comics. Jun Miyazuki, whether or not we're talking about romance or any other category of comics, is an absolute master at her craft. Just if you look at the first few pages of Kowloon Generic Romance, just how well it's paced, how it shows the little details of the setting to make you feel like you're transported into Kowloon Walled City in Hong Kong back in the 80s or 90s. It's a bit ambiguous when the story takes place, but and then seeing our main character Kujirai go about her morning, starting with waking up, going to her porch, enjoying a cigarette and a slice of watermelon, putting her clothes on, getting ready for the day in the office. It's just so beautifully paced and puts you into those slice of life moments in Hong Kong's Kowloon Walled City. And there from the first chapter, it's pretty clear that a lot of the story revolves around a crush that she has on one of her coworkers. Like I mentioned, Jun Miyazuki's great at depicting romance and really great at depicting crushes, just subtly trying to get him to go with her on a lunch date, trying to look at the little things to detect, does he like me? And as you read this first volume, you think this is probably what Kowloon Generic Romance is mainly about. Romance is in the name. It's probably mostly about Kujirai and this crush she has. But when you get to the end of the first volume, you have this Twilight Zone moment where she realizes she's been at this place before, and this restaurant in Kowloon Walled City she's been in might not really exist. She sees this beautiful restaurant as it is in one moment, and the next moment sees it as a pile of rubble. And that's where you find that there's more to the story than you anticipated. Is the Kujirai that we were introduced at the start of the manga the actual Kujirai? Is there more history between her and the person that she has a crush on? A very intriguing romance that we have here in Kowloon Generic Romance, one that turns into sci-fi, but interspersed in between are still those amazing slice of life moments, and not to mention a lot of great dishes. Let me show you a bit more of the artwork. A lot of the story takes place in cafes like this, so you have the feeling of being in an Asian cafe. You see a lot of Hong Kong street food throughout this manga. So in addition to being a great work of science fiction, a great work of romance, it also serves as a great travel manga as well. Moving on, we have Stray Cat and Wolf, which is a manga that falls into the category known as shoujo, manga that are originally intended for a young female audience, many of which are romantically inclined, like this title here, Stray Cat and Wolf, which tells a story about this girl who lives in the countryside and moves into Tokyo. She has a bit of an unfortunate situation there in the countryside, so she wants to escape from it all. The thing is, she goes to Tokyo with nothing but the backpack on her back. Not great, not a great situation for a young girl on her own. But luckily, or perhaps unluckily, we'll find out, she runs into this rock star named Ro, who picks her up. He's the wolf, she's the stray cat. He brings her into his home to shield her from things that take place in the city, bad actors, that type of thing. But of course, the two of them living together sets up a lot of moments of butting heads and misunderstandings. But of course, as anyone can expect, it also sets up the perfect stage for a budding romance. So from the premise I described, it's nothing you haven't heard of before. It's a story that's very classic in nature, but where Stray Cat and Wolf really excels is in the execution, especially because this artist is just so amazing. The character designs, thank you for the time check. She's beautiful, he's beautiful, and of course the moments in which they come together and have bits of intimacy are extremely beautiful. One of the things that I learned in reading Stray Cat and Wolf is how important hands are in really good kissing scenes. What do I mean by that? I guess you'll have to read Stray Cat and Wolf to find out. The next step is Minato's Laundromat, which is a manga that falls into the boys love category. So boys love manga, which tell the story of male and male romances, have become a big hit in the manga category. It's been popular to a certain extent for basically as long as manga's been around, but it's really reached a point where boys love are some of the most popular titles out there. We have a great one here with Minato's Laundromat, which was so popular that it was actually adapted into a live action drama. This story revolves around Akira, who's like, I'm done with the rat race. I'm done with corporate lifestyle. I want to have a simple life. So what he does is he inherits his grandfather's laundromat and lives a simple life there. And it's in this laundromat that this student comes in and starts becoming a regular visitor. And our laundromat owner realizes that he might have a bit of affections for this student who comes and visits him. So, like I said, one of the most popular categories in manga, and an excellent title we have here in that category in Minato's Laundromat. So also popular within the manga category are Yuri manga, which tell the story of female and female relationships. And we have an absolutely adorable and hilarious one here with Cheerful Amnesia. Cheerful Amnesia tells a story of Arisa, who wakes up in a hospital bed and realizes she doesn't remember anything that happened to her in the past 3 years, which is really unfortunate because in the past 3 years, she met a girl named Mari, who ends up becoming her girlfriend and the two of them end up living together. So she wakes up and there's Mari and she's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm your girlfriend." Oh, well, do we live together? Yes, we live together. Have we gone all the way? Yes, we've gone all the way. And over here, you see her sort of celebrating the fact that, my God, I've got this beautiful girlfriend and this life that I live. So it's this really sweet, despite how sexy I might have made it seem, it's actually a really wholesome story. It's the two of them have been together for a while, but since Arisa doesn't remember it, you're kind of seeing the two of them come together for the first time in a way, sort of falling in love with each other again, especially in Arisa's side. But despite everything they've been through together, she's still trying to warm up to intimacy. So it's really sweet. It's really funny. And also it sort of addresses what we're seeing with Yuri manga. Previously, a lot of them were high school oriented, younger characters. But what we're seeing now is a lot of the Yuri manga coming out in English have characters who are more professional, older, in their 20s and 30s. And that's what we have here with Cheerful Amnesia. For a bit older readers, but still, like I said, very, very, very wholesome and very sweet and absolutely hilarious. And last but not least, another work of romantic comedy, Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. So Hades is a god who kind of likes being solitary. He does his duty in the underworld. He's very good at his job, and that's that. He doesn't want to get married. Everybody seems to want him to get married. He doesn't. Unfortunately for Hades, he is shot in the head by Eros' arrow, and is told the first person you see is the person you'll fall in love with. So he's like, well, I don't want to fall in love. I don't want that. So he blindfolds himself. But you can only be blindfolded for so long. So he takes a break and removes it. And unfortunately for him, at that exact moment, Kori, as some of us know, as Persephone, falls down. And then immediately when that happens, the arrow disappears from his head, but nothing happens to him. So he thinks, oh, she must have done something to save me from this unfortunate fate. Well, Kori, I'll give you whatever you want. What would you like? And she says, I want you to get married to anybody but me. And from there, all heaven breaks loose. All of the gods now want Hades to get married. So the chapters have the different goddesses in Greek mythology sort of lining up and trying to get in Hades' good graces to marry him. So yeah, and a really sexy romantic comedy here with Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. One where a lot of the fun comes, of course, between Hades and Cordy, being like, all right, you two like each other. Come on, admit it, get together. And all the hijinks that happen on the side, especially with Hades' brothers, Zeus and Poseidon, who are hilariously unfaithful, as I put it. And of course, the cherry on top is just how amazing the artwork is. Everybody here looks absolutely beautiful. Hades, Corey, Zeus, Poseidon, Medusa, everybody. So it's a lot of fun seeing how the gods and goddesses are interpreted, all the figures in Greek mythology interpreted here, and the silly situations they get themselves into in Lord Hades' Ruthless Marriage. And that's it for me. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. I hope you check out some of the manga I presented here today.
Thank you so much, Mark. And our final panelist today will be Lisa Mangum. Lisa has worked in publishing since 1997 eventually being named managing editor for Shadow Mountain Publishing in 2014. As an editor, she has worked with several New York Times bestselling authors and specializes in fiction for middle grade and young adults. Her favorite genres are romance and fantasy and any story that speaks to the heart. She's also an author, having published 4 young adult romance novels. Bring us home, Lisa.
My name is Lisa Mangum, and I'm the managing editor of Shadow Mountain Publishing. I'm excited to introduce you to several of our romance novels, as well as some cookbooks releasing in the fall of 2023 and spring of 2024. Shadow Mountain Publishing launched our Proper Romance brand in 2012, and we now have published more than 50 titles, with another 11 in production through fall of 2024. We recently celebrated receiving 6 starred reviews in a row for our most recent titles. To Capture His Heart is a classic fake relationship trope, as Eva Caldwell agrees to a pretend courtship with her friend Detective Nathan Winston, only to find herself the target of a criminal from Nathan's past. As a child, Rosalind Newberry made a list of 10 things to do before my wedding day. Falling in love with Charlie was not on the list. Now she has 3 weeks to decide if she will choose a life of security for her family or a life of love for herself. When U.S. Marshal John Hocking learns that a corrupt sheriff is ruling the town of Sand Creek with an iron fist, he goes undercover, only to discover that someone else is also trying to stop Sheriff Hodges, Liesel, the sheriff's own daughter. Hawk and Liesel will both have to put their lives and their hearts on the line to save the town they both love. When Genevieve Wilde's late father's pocket watch is stolen, she hires thief-taker Jack Travers to get it back. Jack is frustratingly flirtatious, irritatingly handsome, and entirely unpredictable. But after Ginny discovers that the missing watch is part of a larger plot against her, she will need Jack's help more than ever, leaving her heart in just as much danger as her life. A free-spirited artist teams up with a no-nonsense detective to capture an art thief in The Art of Love and Lies by Rebecca Anderson. Rosanna Hawkins is one of Manchester's finest artists, even though no one knows her name. She reproduces near-perfect parlor versions of classic masterpieces for her employer to sell. When the largest art exhibition ever to be held in England opens in Manchester, Rosanna is excited to attend. There she meets the handsome detective Martin Harrison, who is head of security, and is immediately intrigued by his charm, confidence, and canvas-worthy good looks. The two spend many a flirtatious afternoon exploring the exhibition hall, discussing art, and sharing their secret hopes. The couple's blossoming summer romance falters when Rosanna recognizes her own works on display in the exhibition hall. Someone is stealing original paintings and replacing them with her reproductions. When Rosanna becomes a suspect, she must convince Detective Harrison of her innocence and proposes a plan to capture the real art thief. It's a daring race to catch the criminal before he disappears with Michelangelo's Manchester Madonna. If Rosanna and Detective Harrison fail, not only will the painting be lost forever, but so will their chance to rekindle their romance and paint their own happily ever after. This Proper Romance released on August 8, 2023. Romance and mystery come full circle in The Queen and the Knave, the 5th and final book of Sarah M. Eden's best-selling Victorian Dread Penny Society series, releasing September 5, 2023. Maureen Donnelly has spent the last 5 years working in the shadows for the Dread Penny Society, a secret fraternity of authors who use their profits, influence, and street smarts to protect the poor and vulnerable of Victorian London. But spending so much of her life in secret is taking its toll on her soul and her heart. When members of the society begin disappearing, Maureen turns to her friend, Detective Constable Fitzgerald Parkington, for help. The two have developed a friendly rapport, and Maureen feels like she can trust him, though perhaps not with all of her secrets. Fitzgerald Parkington has a sixth sense when it comes to apprehending criminals, but when roadblocks and red tape keep him from tracking down the criminal mastermind known as the Tempest, he must rely on the one woman who has unexpectedly captured his heart, the brash, bold, and fiery Irish lass, Maureen Donnelly. As the Tempest's deadly reach threatens to overwhelm all of London, Maureen and Fitz are caught in an elaborate game of cat and mouse. Maureen has one chance to save both Fitz and the Dread Penny Society, and she might have to sacrifice her one chance at love to do so. The Dread Penny Society series has captured the hearts and imaginations of readers everywhere. Complete your collection today. And then add to the collection with this beautiful cloth-covered hardback anthology, which compiles all the original short stories from the Dread Penny Society series. Also included in this edition are 3 new, never-before-released stories. The collection became available September 5th, 2023. Author Julie Wright brings us a new Regency romance with Windsong Manor. Eleanora Coventry was wed at 16 and widowed at 27, so the idea of choosing her own path forward on her own terms both thrills and terrifies her. She knows how to be a daughter and a wife, but she has no idea how to be Eleanora. She moves her children to her late husband's country estate of Windsong Manor, where she meets Ridley Ellis, the handsome and kind young stablemaster. Eleanora and Ridley are quickly drawn to each other, but there is one problem. Eleanora has a title, and Ridley does not. In a world where title and privilege mean everything, will Eleanora and Ridley risk it all to find happiness, or will the shadows of their past destroy everything they hope to build together? Travel to Windsong Manor on October 3rd, 2023. When Charlotte Duval finds a box of letters that cast suspicion on the circumstances of her mother's death, she turns to her treasured friend and director of London's police force, John Ellis. John has long harbored feelings for Charlotte, and though he has not yet found the courage to share them openly, he is eager to help her in her hour of need. Investigating the details of a possible murder was not how Charlotte imagined she would find love, but as she and John unravel a dark web of secrets and lies, she finds herself relying on him more and more, and opening her heart to him in the process. As the danger draws ever closer, John vows to do everything in his power to protect Charlotte, but he fears protecting her heart might come at the cost of breaking his own. Protecting Her Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen will be available on January 2nd, 2024. This presentation has introduced you to 2 of the 3 novels in the Hampton House trilogy by Nancy Campbell Allen. Make sure to complete your set by picking up the first book, The Matchmaker's Lonely Heart, which pairs Amelie Hampton, a hopelessly romantic heroine who manages the Lonely Hearts column of the local newspaper, with Michael Baker, a dedicated detective determined not to fall in love. All 3 stories are companion books, each featuring one member of a trio of cousins, but each one can also be read as a standalone romance. Fablehaven is an internationally best-selling fantasy series with more than 4 million copies in print. Now fans can enjoy the official Fablehaven cookbook by Brandon Mole and Sherry Mole, with nearly 50 wondrous recipes inspired by the world of Fablehaven. Each recipe includes details of how the tasty dish is connected to Fablehaven, along with full-color photos. This unique must-have book also includes a selection of magical crafts for kids to make, like wizard slime and Vanessa's invisible ink. Wondrous recipes include Grandma Sorensen's apple pie, Muriel's pretzel knots, ogre stew, Mummy Dog's dragon egg cupcakes, and Singing Sisters bubbling brew. And while your brew is bubbling, settle in to read a bonus, never-before-published short story starring the Fablehaven Brownies, written by Brandon Mole and illustrated by Brandon Dorman. The cookbook released August 1st, 2023, and is available now. Coming October 3rd, 2023, is a beautiful new cookbook celebrating 25 years of Kneader's Bakery and Cafe. The story of Kneader's began with Colleen and Gary Worthington baking traditional European bread in their kitchen. After mastering old-world bread baking techniques and testing countless recipes, Colleen, Gary, and their growing team of bakers moved onto their signature artisan bread, followed by creating mouth-watering soups and sandwiches, as well as countless delectable pies and pastries. Now, for the first time, they have gathered their best recipes in this commemorative cookbook. What began in Colleen Worthington's kitchen 25 years ago has grown into a successful family-owned bakery and cafe business with time-tested, delicious recipes in this one-of-a-kind anniversary cookbook. Recipes include lemon meringue tarts, coconut chocolate bread pudding, turkey curry chowder, 3-cheese cauliflower soup, stuffed French toast, cranberry orange muffin tops, pecan pancakes with buttermilk caramel syrup, and Tuscan bistro sandwiches. Before we go, I'd like to share a quick sneak peek of some of our upcoming titles for March and April 2024. An Inconvenient Letter by Julie Wright. Complications arise when the wrong man accidentally finds Marietta's secret love letters. The Orchids of Ashthorne Hall by Rebecca Anderson. A ghostly estate, a handsome caretaker hiding a secret, and the intrepid Hyacinth Bell, who is set on solving the mystery of both. And Elise's Home Kitchen, Eat Dessert First, brings together both sweet and savory recipes from Elise Thomas, aka the Cookie Lady, and founder of Cookie Co. Thank you for the chance to talk about our publications. You are welcome to learn more at shadowmountain.com or by emailing Bree George at bgeorge@shadowmountain.com.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and a big thank you to all of today's panelists and all the amazing books that you showed us. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, title list, PowerPoint slides, and a certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past programs and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. And between January 1st and August 31st of this year, ALA's Office for Intellectual Freedom documented challenges to 1,915 unique titles. That's an increase of 20% from the same reporting period last year. Join the fight to help protect the freedom to read by supporting the Unite Against Book Bans campaign and visit their website at uniteagainstbookbans.org for resources, toolkits, merchandise, to donate, and more. And remember that you can utilize Booklist to support your library's collection development choices with reviews backed by the ALA. We have a special webinar subscription offer, and don't forget that your subscription dollars help ALA advocate on behalf of libraries, assisting those facing an unprecedented number of book challenges. Email us at info@booklistonline.com for more information. And attention booksellers, Booklist Reader showcases books your customers can purchase from your store today. In addition to sharing from your website, you can now distribute print copies to your visitors. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit our website to order copies for your store today. We have a special announcement introducing Booklist Book Club, a year-long partnership with your favorite publishers. Each month, Booklist will showcase book club picks and supporting materials from a different publisher, offering a wide range of genres and age groups to fit the needs of any book discussion group. Mark your calendars for November, when we'll hear about book club picks from Macmillan. To find out more information, scan the QR code on this slide or visit our website. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar, and one final thank you to our sponsors, Disney Publishing, Hachette Book Group, Yen Press, and Shadow Mountain Publishing. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.